definitely new for people. Okay. So Energy, as the name suggests, and who are new to this platform, Energy means the bond of love, and it signifies unconditional love. And it is a bond of unconditional love for our native land that brought back Mr. Milind Dutta, the founder of Energy, from the US to start a non-profit organization in 2018, where we engage and promote various initiatives that are striving for social change. We are honing leadership skills and building entrepreneurship capabilities in the Northeast, including Assam. For the past few months, actually, it's been quite some times that Energy has been doing great in hosting more than around 200 plus webinars, during which started the from the COVID era. And here, what we are doing is that we are trying to engage we are engaging with speakers from various fields via our social media our virtual working in. I would like to introduce our next speaker on this session, and it has been graced by Prisny Borah, who's currently a senior consultant working for the Northeast region with regards to child rights with Aangan, which is a Mumbai based organization. Ms. Borah holds a master's degree in social work with a special interest in women and children's rights. Besides that, she has worked extensively in the area of anti-human trafficking and child rights, hosting diverse experience in resort to promote and maintain mental health of the individuals and groups. She has worked across different regions of India with organizations across, and has been associated in the past with the youth in regards to life skills and taking care of the psychosocial aspects of human behavior. So, Prisny, welcome to our session today. I'm extremely happy to grace the occasion with you. And before we start off, I would like to just know a little bit about you and your life. So if you could just, enlighten the people about it. So welcome once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Roshni. And thank you so much, Anatari, for giving me this time, an opportunity, of course. So I am Prisny Borah. I am from Guwahati, Assam, and I've studied in St. Mary's Convent, and after that I studied my 11th, 12th from army school, and then I went to Delhi. I was quite naive at that point of time, and then Delhi taught me 3 years of how to tackle different kinds of things in life. I did not even know how to travel, actually. That's how I learned traveling and started my journey of adulthood maybe. And so yeah, I did my graduation from Indraprasth College, Delhi University, and political science honors I did. And then after that I chose Bombay as my city, because I wanted to travel safely. I wanted to understand a different place set up. So I studied my master's from SNT Women's University, Bombay, and I started work after giving my finals. Thereafter, after 2 months, I started working, I worked as a school social worker. I worked as a speaker of life skills. I was associated with the youths. I also had taken care of a lot of psychosocial aspects of the youth. And thereafter, I worked with various organizations, like, which obviously, like, is today what I'm going to talk about, anti-human trafficking. And then I was into child rights. So yes, so my interest was always women and children, and that's what brings me today here. So yes, this is something brief. And if you would love to know about what I love, I think I from small I have been a dancer. I'm a classical Bharatanatyam dancer. Although I love different forms of dance, and I have danced. And I was for a very short period of time I was in choreographic team as well, in Delhi, but I had to leave that for various other things. And so yeah, and I love sports. I love fitness. I love all those things. I love various fashionable things. So yes, I think I love everything. So yeah, that's who I am.
Okay, that's wonderful. You're such a, bright girl, I should say. I think, anybody working with you be very happy because you're already so bright, and you have a smiling face. So obviously it makes a lot of difference. So
Thank you. Very kind of you.
interesting to know
Yes.
you. And like we would be discussing about human trafficking and child rights. So I want to know from you, my first question to you would be, what do you understand by human trafficking? Firstly, because yate bahut manhue na jane trafficking to ki hoy ba keneka hoy and why it is happening. So hekhini okoman tumi jodi koa aru mane how do you connect the human trafficking to a child right? Okay, so let's just hear it from you.
Yes. To answer your question, first I would be giving 3-4 liners of what social work is, and then come to maybe what human trafficking is, and the process of human the process of human trafficking, and then maybe correlate with how it everything is connected, because human trafficking is basically it doesn't have any kind of borders. It is everywhere. So yeah, it's a $1 billion industry. And so here I am starting with what social work is actually, because a lot of people have very different kind of perspectives. So that is why I thought I would explain what social work is. Social work profession is basically that promotes social change. We are change makers, and through empowerment this happens, and a lot of intervention, intervention which resolves problems in social relationships. So it is very systematic approach where you have to learn theory to understand that, to bring it into practice. So it's not something which you cannot learn and do it. So yeah, that's what it is. And if for talk about sex and gender, it's often used interchangeably. Sex is something which is biological for humans and animals, and it is something physical and physiological features. But whereas gender is socially construct, roles and behaviors, expression, identity of girls, women, boys, men, gender, and diverse people. So gender identity is not confined to a binary nor static. So it exists along a continuum and can change over time. Basically, that is what gender is. So we have in social work we have various modules in casework, which is basically very individualistic approach. We have group work where we make everyone sit in a group, but we focus on individuals through group method. We have 7 principles of social work. We have core values, and these 7 principles of social work is entirely based on what we do basically. So when you imbibe those 7 principles of social work, it goes into your DNA. So it's not just in your career life you would be doing it, but it goes on every day when you eat, drink, it becomes your habit basically. So these are the 7 principles that we basically, that is the base of everything that we do. So yeah, and if anyone wants to know about those, I can maybe offline I can share. Okay. So that is what I can do. And so what now? Now coming to human trafficking. So human trafficking basically is defined as the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person through the use of force, fraud or coercion for the purpose of subjection to involuntary servitude, peonage, debt bondage, or slavery. So basically, in a nutshell, human trafficking is the selling of humans, basically, for profit. As I mentioned earlier, it's like $1 billion industry, and it doesn't have borders. So I worked for India, basically, where I met Ohomia ladies, in this, racket, basically, I would call. So yes, so she was, they were survivors, of course, and I'm really glad, that I could meet them. So yes, so this is what human trafficking is.
And how do you connect it to a right? We will come to that later on, probably.
Yes.
I want to also know, in terms of, since we are in the Northeast, and definitely you just mentioned that you have actually worked in Mumbai, right? You're working right now also, and
I work
actually
for Bombay right now. Yes, I worked for India, basically, human trafficking. So yes.
So you're working for Pan India, is it? So I want to know what is okay. So I want to understand in terms of, let us take it this way. If you could give us certain kind of inputs, how is human trafficking affecting India, and a little bit about probably Assam, what keneke change hoise hekhini jodi tumi olop kobo para, mane how is this crime and how much is this getting affected?
So it's massive. It's huge. You can't even imagine. So I can share the statistics, if you want. It has gone. What I can say is, Juntu agote asle, what it was previously, it has increased. Legalizing prostitution doesn't solve the problem of what I have personally experienced. So human trafficking is all around the world, right? Certain countries which are outside India, they have legalized, but the problem is not getting solved. That means there is something, right, beyond that. So this is what it is. And Northeast basically is, the borders are porous, and it is not just the source. So it is demand, and it's also a transportation hub, and it is a destination for the displaced people and other states, and also intrastate, displacements. So you can imagine. So a lot goes from Northeast, a lot of trafficking is happening from Northeast, is what I can say. So yes. So I can explain you maybe now, what is the process, of trafficking. Should I explain it? Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So see, human trafficking is a very end-to-end strategy. So it is like a multidisciplinary approach. So it's not just the social workers can work. It's basically a team of social workers, lawyers, doctors, medical legal team, then licensed counselors. Often this word counseling is said, we normally, I've heard a lot, people talk about, oh, my counseling deal, but it is actually so incorrect. Because you have to be like a licensed counselor to counsel people or to give therapy. You cannot just counsel people. That word is very incorrect for people who use it. So I would like to say that, that you have to be a licensed counselor to counsel people. It's a very systematic approach. It is not advice or suggestion. It is very, very different. So this is what I would just bring in. And so it is a very multidisciplinary approach. We had research and the R&D team. So it's together, everyone coming to save one survivor. So you can imagine the investment that it goes on. So it's huge. So my to start off with, initially, obviously, there will be informants from the community, or kunbai inform korbo. This person is there who is slaved, basically, who is bonded and is in this brothel. Okay. So everyone who wants to know beyond this can read the ITPA Act. So I will be telling only in generic, terms. Suppose, for example, we came to know that Chikasa, there's a survivor who is in this brothel. So we are going to obviously cross-check. Then after that, with police, we are going to go rescue the girl, the survivor. And before that, there is a process of panchnama and all that happens, in the police station. And so we go inside brothel, okay, with a team. So for the police, it is raid. For us, it is rescue. So we go inside and we suppose you get the girl. Sometimes, a lot of times, tip-up happens and you go rescue and the girl is shocked, is traumatized. It doesn't know what is going on because she's already groomed for all this, by the way. She's already trained because this girl, when she was kidnapped or how does this happen? How does a girl end up in a brothel where she's basically, or how does a girl end up in a place where she doesn't want to be there? How does it happen? So it happens basically cheating. Ways to mama biyad bhalpa, I really love you and all, and they get into an affair, and then the guy takes her, telling that, oh, bhal job ase and all that, good jobs, we'll stay in the metro, cheating basically. Then kidnap, then jobs, and all these cases that I have gone through has been very family, people. Kunmai jane kaba. So it has happened through that because in a village setup, a person who they know will obviously they'll encounter. There are certain cases where babies are also sold. Mo paisa nahi, so I'll sell off my babies. So then the baby is groomed. Then she'll be put in a brothel basically. Then otherwise, this girl is basically, I'll give you an example. So this girl is basically groomed before we rescue her. She'll be already trained. She will be made to understand that Zodita Mukhla, or if you just open your mouth, you will be basically crushed to death. So, and there has been cases which we don't even know that they're actually digged in the hole. Cases. So that kind of level of torture and everything happens basically with her, sexually harassed, raped, molested, whatever, name it, anything, and she has gone through it. Then she will be brought, so the borders cross korbo eta jagah pa eta jagah le type bikri koribo basically. She'll be sold various money, okay, she'll be sold, and then she will be put in one destination. She'll be put in one brothel where she'll be forced. Suppose you go rescue her now, she'll be in shock. Oh, who am I supposed to trust? These people are going to save me, or these? Who are these? So she is in complete, absolute, blank, frozen state of mind. From that point of time, the social worker is there with her. We immediately separate the accused and the survivor. I would call her a survivor because she survived the situation and not a victim. So, we will be separating her. And because the accused does all movements from the eye, they don't talk, but they show it with the eye movements. Anyone around. So you have to be extremely careful and trained for all these things, So then, so she will be brought and she'll be in a frozen state, obviously not knowing what is going on. So then the accused will be going in a different vehicle, and basically the survivor will be with us, with the social workers and women police officers, of course. Then the entire night the FIR goes on. The minute the survivor is in basically is in, when we have her around basically, then we immediately give her food, clothes, whatever is necessary. We also speak to the shelter homes, the vacancy asan and I. We have to speak, all these coordination happens beforehand, vacancy asan night. You have to take care of her basically. She's nowhere. She's already frozen. She doesn't know who to trust, who not to trust. She's at the level of situation where she thinks that says I don't know what is going to happen to me because I am caught, and now they are going to question me. What is going to happen? So then she stays in the police station because FIR entire night FIR is prepared and stuff. After that, the general medicals happen of the lady. Then the general medical, after the general medical episode, we drop her at the shelter home. So the shelter home, like, then what happens is the social worker starts doing the casework of her immediately. Did you rescue her or something? Then you need somebody, right? Like, even if she doesn't trust us in the beginning, for example, but she knows that, okay, something is happening, of course, but then just be there with her, basically, not talk or anything, like, Then slowly, once she's there in this shelter home, there's like 24 hours, there is a production in the, if she's a minor, it will be child welfare committee. If she is a major, then it will be the court that she has to appear within 24 hours. And then she'll be in this shelter home. So basically rescue pra rehabilitation. Now in the rehabilitation period, basically, like, she's going to be in the shelter home. There have been instances where, like, the accused have followed them. Like, shelter home pra ulabo nige, of course. Tate you have to be inside only. And in that inside, like, what we do is we, as social worker, we liaison with different stakeholders. So government officials, we also, like, liaison with different therapies, therapy art form or dance form. Activities organize, they will stay inside for their safety and security. And children who are in need of care and protection. So basically, they fall under that category, children in need of care and protection. Because the Juvenile Justice Act has two, like, broad categories. It is like child in need of care and protection and child in conflict with the law. So A duta pore trafficked survivors like a pore care and protection, because obviously they need that. So here shelter home, then obviously you have to organize, like, activities for them. If you can enroll, like, open school or something, education for them. Medium of language because obviously traffic completely. So then another, it is like, a challenge. So then education, like, or like then different kinds of dance or therapy, everything goes on basically in that period of stay. So jodi repatriate korbo lage to a different country, then obviously we contact, like, the High Commissioner, embassies, like, for her. And then, like, slowly and what we do is, like, we try doing, like, a lot of skill development, which is very, very important for everyone. Like, skill development is extremely important factor, because you need to earn at the end of the day. The income generation has to happen. So when, like, she stays in the shelter home, so then certain products, and then they can earn, like, a bit, because already they are traumatized. They're having, like, so we social workers, we do one-to-one, like, sessions. And also we had, like, trained counselors who counsel them in a week, maybe they will have. And we also have counseling sessions, by the way. We also personally do it monthly. It was compulsory, because obviously we are, we like, are the frontliners. So hence, like, since we come across very, very traumatic, like, incidents, so go through, like, counseling, which I see here very, like, more at an adequate counseling sessions, like, yet a concept to more iman ahana still. But it should actually, we all should go for counseling sessions. It's extremely important, like, so it heals, you feel so fresh, like, it's just like a spark for the mind.
So, yes, I mean, you never know, sometimes you might be in that zone to help someone, right? And so if you know, you're aware of the things that you need to know, need to do, so it becomes easier. Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Yate about wherever, like, I think in India in large, I think like, kibada hole hai jabo lage. So it's nothing like that. It's just, it's a spa for the mind. So you don't have to kiba hole hai jabo lage, like, you can just go, like, talk it out, be free, like, you'll be clear of wherever you are, like, so so yeah, it's a choice after all, but I'm just advocating it basically. And so episode session hoy, counseling session hoy, amar one-to-one therapies hoy, activities hoy, education parila hoy. And then after that, like, when will I be able to go home? I really want to go home. So repatriation court a lot of time lage, because obviously they also have to say that, okay, thik ase, amar swali hoy ekhon country, like, please allow her to come. So something like that, like, then obviously we basically the government escorts her. And also, like, there are facilities like, halfway home, where she's kept, where she can basically, after a period of time, move out, like how we move out, we work, we come back. So something like that, that she can do. And some like, humans, they don't choose to go back home, because a lot of taboo is also attached. Like, iman boso ko file. tini bosor, 2 bosor, like, but she's in a state where she needs support and love. But so many, I think the society at large is such that, that she knows that, moji jao mug accept no koribo. I will not be loved, or I will not get the support. So it is better I live myself, like, I go work, I do it, like, mo niche koro. But then there is always a security, like, threat. So definitely that thing is there. But at the max, say halfway home, like, at least, like, secured hoy, but ulai jai lahe hoy. This is like a period of time. So basically rescue, rehabilitate, like, repatriate, reintegration. This is basically the entire, and this is just for one. They have a lot of health challenges. Put health or challenge because obviously, like, they go through immense, like, kind of health diseases and so there was this one case XYZ where she did not say yes to, like, kidnap korile, like so everything was done, and she was tied. She was like, robbed off with all kinds of chilies on her body, and like, but still she did not give in. And she was mentally, she had broken down. She had a mental breakdown, of course. She took 4 to 5 months, like, she was in the hospital under our care and everyone's support. And she now is living very healthy, healthy and working also, and very happy, got married, like, and she's happy, basically. That's what she chose to do. Like, you should always choose to do what you wish to. So yes, so we are very happy, but it goes through a very immense, rigorous process of, like, everything, because you're not dismantled for you. Like, dismantle Korea, yes, completely. So you have to join again, like, join again. So it takes years, like, years. So to move on, basically, of course, because it will always stay. It's a fact that it's going to always stay of whatever happened. But you can definitely move on healthily. So that's what we try, like, doing. So yes.
Aruki, there are scars, like, that remains in your mind. I mean, sometimes even for it matter, এটা সৰু বস্তু হলেও affect কৰে আৰু এইটো lifelong থাকি যায়. So for someone going through all that pain and, the hurdles that her body and her mind must have faced, so obviously it is very difficult. And I am sure the work that you are doing, as well as the, your colleagues and other organizations who are again involved in such kind of activities, are doing a great job.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is something which is very I think human trafficking is one of the, in the developmental sector, it's one of the toughest, I feel. Like, because it is not at all, I would say, like, it requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of, like, I think you have to be highly motivated individual for doing it.
Yes.
So yeah, highly motivated, and you have, because they dismantle, and then you have to figure out. Then we also, like, take care of the legal system. Conviction rates are very, very less, very low conviction rates. So conviction rates, like, legally. So we try, basically, we dismantle into Korea. Just a second, I'll tell you. Is like, basically we help rescue, like, victims of slavery and human trafficking. We empower them to rebuild their lives. In empowering to rebuild their lives, it takes a lot of time, a lot of, like, things go through. We work with the police to basically pursue and dismantle criminal networks and bring perpetrators to justice. So when you dismantle the criminal, like, networks, you have a lot of risk also. So because you're snatching away the bread and butter, right?
Right.
So yes, and then we secure communities at risk from the traffickers and spark systematic change, because in the communities, when they will understand, oh, like, things like go on, this is what we are supposed to do, then that is how you are being aware, at least, like, And we work with the government and law enforcement agencies to fight slavery, basically. All these are all these are forms of slavery. So yes, so human trafficking is one. For example, even I would like to, like, bring out even begging, actually. Begging is also very, it's a very organized crime. Yes. So if somebody is begging tomorrow, like, coming to your door when you're driving, so what I would say is this: because it is an organized crime, if you suppose give money, that means you are supporting the organized crime. So that means we are promoting the
right.
organized crime. So instead, like what can be done has to be alternative, because if we are giving money, that means we are promoting beggars more. Come beg more. So they are going to be, the babies are like drugged. The babies are like drugged and given vodka. Such small babies, they are not their babies also. So there's a lot of so this is one form of against slavery, begging, which needs to be really taken care of alternatively. If we are giving money, we are actually promoting the organized crime. It's a very organized crime. It's basically everything is linked, so that is how it happens. And we, the public, basically the citizens, we should not encourage it. As simple as that. So if you have to go deep, you can read things about begging. So maybe you'll have an understanding how deep it is actually, how deep organized crime it is. Yeah. And the money also goes to the kingpin. The money doesn't go to the person who collects it. It goes to the kingpin.
Yes.
So yeah.
So exactly, I mean, we see a different picture altogether.
Yes.
Stating that okay, the beggars are actually poor. মানে আমার চকুত হেতুৱে আমি আমাক দিয়া বা দেখা যায়, but
exactly.
This is it altogether. I mean, I think
it's very different. Exactly.
Yes, and you were in Mumbai, you know how the beggars work, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So
you call it Delhi or metros or anywhere in metro cities, so this is, even we have, all of us, so it's basically an organized crime, and we need to stop it basically. So yes,
very true.
Yeah. So this is one part, and
we are coming back to another question. So I want to know, what are your contributions as against this crime? What have you, so we want to know, to me ki korisa, what have you done? And I'm sure all of us would like to know this.
Surely. I think I trust that at least whatever I've spoken, at least 2% of whatever I've spoken is understood, of the people who are watching, or something at least, So yeah. Should I tell about the laws quickly a bit, and then maybe if anyone wants a draft or something, I can share the draft.
Yes. So you can talk about the law first, and then your contribution as how did you help. Was there an encounter which happened, and a life scenario at a Dibopara Amak, we know, and the audience also know.
Yeah. So I'm basically, I cannot speak much, but I will try sharing with all of you. So yes. So I'm believing it's a close community. So yes, I will share just a bit of how much ever I can. So yes. The human trafficking laws basically entails to Article 23, the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, Section 370, 370A of Indian Penal Code, GCOI, I can share with all of you. Article 370, 370A, Section 372 of IPC, Section 373 of IPC. There are schemes, Ujwala, Swadargrah. There's anti-human trafficking specialized district task forces, basically. These police are specially trained for human trafficking, survivors, basically. The act. And government officials are also there in this anti-human trafficking, unit. Then there's a bill, Trafficking in Person, Bill Con 2021, Prevention, Care and Rehabilitation, which, recently, it passed one. Protection of Children from Sexual Offenses, POCSO Act 2012, children okane, and the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015, আৰু এখন recent bill যোনখন হৈছে এইটো action অহা নাই কিন্তু pass হৈছে 2021 খন, juvenile justice. আৰু basically yeah, I can tell about the contribution, and then maybe I can speak a little about child rights. So,
yes, we're coming to that. So if you could tell us a little about your personal experience.
Yes, so my personal experience in brief, of course. This was something very, very extremely intense, that I have done in my life, I think, career, of course. I was in
Okay.
my 20s at that period of time, and I had like all the energy, like, I was absolutely into it. And because I'm passionate, like, about this field, I'm absolutely
Mm.
passionate. Because if you're not passionate, you cannot do it. You will run after 3 days.
Yes. Very
So
true.
yes, yes. So I worked in designing the aftercare strategies, like, what strategies we can bring once the girl is like, brought to our, like, is rescued. What are the
Mm.
strategies that can be individually, like, model kora jai? Protect kind of different. It is different, like, what will work with different people. Then skill
Mhm.
building programs for the shelter home, liaising with all these district women and child development department, government officials. So you
Mm.
need permissions for everything. You need to go network like a lot, like, with people. So I went for different networking meetings. I
Mm.
personally had like taken care of the psychosocial aspects of humans, like, of the ladies, of the girls. Then
Okay.
a lot of paperwork goes on, like, then we have spent a lot of, like, nights in Rastat, like, bohi play, Satha play, FIR, Bonai, like, so I'm just giving, like, layman perspective, like, so
Huh.
our bahut in hospital, or like, আমি থাকিছো because obviously the survivor needs us, right? So we have, like, stayed together, and then we have made, like, survivors fit come back to again, like, to life, actually, the people who were dead, actually, like, in the mind, of course. Physically
Mm.
she was walking, but then she was dead completely, so we have brought back to life, like, and that goes through a lot of process, like, and systemic process, not just like, a thing that which doesn't have story. So it is very, very theoretical also, which we have brought into practice.
Mm.
And I used to manage, so I had like teams, like, so we had to supervise a lot. So I
Okay.
did a lot of supervisions, like, I provided direction to address challenges arising in the smooth functioning of the casework, then provide
Right.
ongoing supervision of the staff, and identify capacity building needs, and evaluate staff competencies. Apart from that, like,
Mm.
like once I was chased by, because I used to go for, like, court inquiries. I used to go for, I have done a lot of testimonies for survivors personally.
Okay.
Court or testimony দিব লাগে ন যে এনেকুৱা এনেকুৱা হৈছিলে, yes. So I have done a lot of, in a lot of cases.
Okay.
তাৰপিছত court inquiries কৰা হয়, like, মানে যেতিয়া নতুনকে rescue কৰা হয়, তেতিয়া এটা procedure আছে for the major girls, like you have to give an
Mm.
observation, like, for protect ছোৱালী. So then those, while doing that, while going there, and while I was coming back home, I was being followed. So I was
Mm.
being followed, and I was being chased.
Oh.
So, and then I got calls
Okay.
also, random calls, like, so
Mm.
random calls where I was threatened. And then
Okay.
obviously, like, I got that kind of support, and, like, security,
Mm.
obviously, that I could take care. So yeah, this is something, just a pinch, like, of what I can share, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
There have been other instances where I have seen, like, in rescues, like, different kinds of brothels, different kinds of areas, like, I've been to Kamatipura, I've been to Sonarkachi in Calcutta. So
Okay.
we have also we've traveled through various means, and you cannot even imagine, like, we
Mm-hmm.
have gone in different kinds of things, like,
Okay.
and done different kind of ventures, of course. And
Mm.
so yeah, so I mean, it's the most I think challenging part is when they go back home. It was
Mm.
really happy to see, like, they getting reintegrated, as well as working, like, if they যেতিয়া
Mm-hmm.
সেই জেগাটোত আকৌ যদি নাহে, like, so পইচা,
Right.
like, at least they should earn something. They should be empowered.
Yeah.
So that is, and we keep on following up যে কেনেকুৱা হয়, কি হৈ আছে. So yeah, so then there have been ladies who have come traffic, like, for the second time, third time.
Mm.
কেতিয়াবা নিজেও গুচি আহে, like, because obviously they are in that world, বহুত মানুহ আছে, that keep on, like, tracking and
Just bring
disturbing,
them
and,
back
like,
to that.
yeah,
Uh,
বহুত ইয়াতে মানে বহুত ভিতৰ মানুহ আছে. So today when I'm speaking, I know that I'm speaking to a trusted community.
right.
So that is
So
what, like,
it's a risk factor even when you are speaking about this, right?
yes,
Because
absolutely. So yes,
yeah.
so
And
yeah,
this job, you can say, or this profession altogether is challenging.
it
Are
is
you
it is definitely.
taking up such a challenge for and understanding the depth of it. I don't think so many people would like to do it, or would মানে কৰিবলৈ এটা thinness থাকিলেও they wouldn't do it, because there's a
Yeah.
challenge, life নিজৰ লাইফৰ এটা insecurity থাকে, আজি তোমাকো কোনবাই মানে somebody might attack us, right? So those kind of things are there, but it's I mean, hats off to you and to
Thank
the
you.
people
Thank you.
who are doing this. And it's so nice to know from you, there are so many things and aspects to this.
Oh, lot. This is just basically more just all of one person, like, when you're on the ground, when you're on the field, things are very different. Like, there have been people who have, like, gone, head, so you have to be, like, that much strong to actually, like, handle that, because it is different when you're on the ground. I'm just giving you all, like, glimpses, basically, just a bit, like, here and there of what goes on actually. So ITPA Act kon pohile, like, maybe you can understand more in depth. So it's exactly how we do is basically as the ITPA Act. So yeah, that is how it is.
Okay.
Yes.
So aru eta moi tomak question khodibo khujsu yate. So we know for the fact that this is a very challenging kind of a profession, as well as the structure that I told you just now. So how do we create this awareness? Like, for example, anybody can get, lured, or sometimes people can just go crazy. In this world of social media, when you
Exactly.
have access to everything.
Absolutely.
So এইটো কেনেকে আমি as like even India তেতিয়া তুমি দেখিলা, it's we have like so many people আৰু ইমান ডাঙৰ এখন জেগাত, how do we create that awareness, with regards to the child law, or how do we prevent this traffic?
Prevention basically, yeah. So prevention basically goes with, like, I think equipping yourself. Okay, amar more like privilege, at least we have to read, we have to be careful, we have to understand how much we are uploading pictures on social media. We have to understand, like, what we are uploading, are we showing, like, where we are going, what we are doing exactly. So those things come from yourself, like, so I think limited information of like, there's a lot of cyber crime also happening. If you'll see, like, if the youngsters can see of so many cyber crimes happening, so then, like, stepping up, like, suppose, for example, if I'm tomorrow going for a workout in the gym, so I myself, I have to stand up. If somebody is basically sexually harassing me, for example, I have to stand up as well, like, because bhoy khai, like, ki hobo, obviously, it's okay, like, forget it, like, but I think, yeah, we need to be aware ourselves, and we need to stand up also. And also, like, prevention for human trafficking, or for anything, there has to be a lot in the communities, that work in the communities, of what to do, of what things are going on. So a lot of things, yes, amar ohomoto nai, like, prevention or kam, like, hardly nai, like, so a lot of prevention work has to be done. Yet to nai, I can't even see, actually. So to be very, very honest. So yeah, a lot of prevention awareness, like, in the communities basically needs to be reached out. So something like that. So yes. So currently, like, our so how can we help also? I can tell, like, see, if you see, like, a distressed person, so you can contact the nearest police station. You can go to the second OC of a police station. You can direct complaint to a magistrate. You can go for legal help, which for women it is free, like, for the DLSA, like District Legal Service Authority, jao pare, approach koro pare. Taisot Assam Railway Police Helpline 1512, they would call koro pare. Children or karne, if the children are in distress, they can call 1098. Okay, 1098 call korle, yes, for children. Then for, like, the CWC Child Welfare Committee thake protect district, like, protect district, like, child welfare committee thake. So you can go and meet, you can find out, like, government or officer gopla, where is the child welfare committee. So then State Commission for Protection of Child Rights, or, like, complain koro pare. If you know of any kind of NGOs, even the NGOs are supposed to actually work on, like, a lot of prevention work in the communities, so that everyone is aware. And what NGO ase, like, and this is what they do. This is what we can go and, like, take help from. Then 181 is the women helpline. Sakhi is like the one-stop center in every district, like, Then women cells are set up by TISS Bombay in 11 districts of a home. So at the Sadar police station. So Yeah, so Kamrup Metropolitan, Kamrup Rural, Kashar, Sonitpur, Dibrugarh, Nagaon, Borpeta, Dhupri, Shibohagar, Kokrajhar, Karbi Anglong. So these basically are things that, like, you can go ahead and help basically. So these numbers are very important. 181, like, they can connect to people who are in distress. Suppose Mukadi Punbai Kiba, like, suppose kidnap Pule, but Kunga follow anything when ahise agote, like, traffic survivors, they have called, like, NGOs, number janisile. Corporate course, please help. Like, so help code obviously, like, tracking ho jai, so track like, that is how, like, we had actually connected somebody, and from one place to one place while coming in bus, Tetya Tateo rescue basically. She was with the accused, basically traveling in bus with different place from different place to different place. Both jaga transport hoy na eta jaga pra eta jaga le. So Tetya henekwa hoise rescue hoise basically, because she was smart enough to, like, you have to be extremely careful, of course. But we as normal citizens, we should know about all these, like, numbers which are very important, and NGOs and police police station. So yeah, nearest they have to file an FIR if you go. If you go to the police station, they have to file an FIR. They cannot say no. So yes, so article social media also. So yeah, I think that is how we can help. In short, like, in brief, that I have to share. So yeah.
Okay, that's really wonderful. You shared the number, you shared where to go, Child Welfare Committee, the State Commission of Child Rights. You have also talked about this, and you have also, enlightened us with Saki and 191. So, ekhini contribution aru jedi ami kiba eta koribo khoju ba, we might not be aware, though, like, sometimes মানে এনেকুৱা হ'ব পাৰে তুমি সেইটো সময় জানা ধৰি লোৱা, কিন্তু কাক ফোন কৰিব লাগে সেইটো আমি পটকেনে আমাৰ সেই সেন্সটো নাহে।
You're in trouble. Exactly. Yeah. You basically, we all have gone through some things in our lifetime, like, so you understand how the body, like, freezes, like, and once the body freezes, it takes some time. So, but then once you, like, you keep all these things right at the tip of your tongue, I think you will be proactive to do that. So yes.
I think there is some problem, technical problem or network issue from Rashmiba's end. So we can take questions from the audience till then when Rashmiba is back.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please, sir, go ahead.
I just got disconnected. So yes, you have,
Okay.
Okay, so continue, please.
Yeah, Ms. Borah, congratulations for such a nice presentation in a very unusual topic. Although it's rampant in Assam and everywhere in India, we hardly talk about it in social setup like this. And maybe for the first time, you have talked about it in Anajari under our gender and sexuality session. My question is, like, we have instances in Assam, several instances where transgender women or, like youth in gender dysphoria or, questioning their gender identity, they were being trafficked to outside Assam, another state, and forcefully their surgery, sex change surgery was done. And there are several cases happened recently, last year. And do you deal this kind of very sensitive issues, like where gender issue is concerned, and happening, and how to deal? Is it different from the other women issues, or why is it happening so much in I mean, for the transgender recently? I mean, um, what could be the reason, and how to deal with it properly?
Hi, yeah, hi. I got your question, and thank you so much. Like when it comes to the question that you've asked, I've particularly specifically not worked but I've worked only for the section of women, of course. But however, this is one form of slavery again. This is another form of slavery where organ transplantation happens, and this is very, very rampant, I think, nowadays. And definitely, I'm hoping wherever they are, they have gotten out of it and they have fought for it. And you have to link up with organizations that actually work with or with the issue. So and this has to be brought in the forefront. These cases that you have asked, have you personally encountered, or where are they now? Can you tell me right now?
Hello, Mukul sir. I hope you got your answer. Hello.
Sorry, it was unmute. Yeah, they came
Okay,
back
yeah.
actually from the racket. They came back to Assam from the racket, and after that they told about it in the media, and as we knew, and in the mainstream media also it came. Even a very prominent transgender women activist is actually, she was also being blamed. Even allegations are there to her also regarding all this, rackets and all, and she was quite silent to a
Okay, so
certain.
yeah, what my question is basically, did they came back to Assam, of course, and you're
Yeah,
saying that
yeah.
their
After that,
organs were transplanted, and they were being obviously cheated and done everything, and this is one
everything.
form of obviously slavery. But I wanted to know, did they fight for it? Did they go to organizations? Did they file FIR? Did they fight for themselves?
No, we don't have the idea at the moment, because they were from the
Okay,
interior,
because
and it
the
came in the
recent
media.
okay the recent bill, okay, because the bill has included transgender. So yes, earlier it was not written, it was only written man or woman, but then this recent bill has included, and they definitely should fight for it, whatever has gone through, and they have to be compensated, as simple as that.
Yeah, allegations were there that for the necessary permission and all that, they did not give the permission for the sex change. Although they feel like, like women maybe, or in gender dysphoria condition, they did not want surgical change. That's what they
Then
said.
definitely they should fight for it and get the compensation for
Both are
whatever they have
working
gone.
at the moment. Yeah, in Assam, both have been working, earning money
Okay.
in other avenues, not begging.
Okay, yes, that is another aspect. But if they have gone through all of this, then definitely they should fight for it, and definitely they should get in organizations, or I can give some contacts of where they can go and fight for it. Maybe I'll find out. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but why
Thank
is
you.
it happening? I mean, rampant. I mean, so much. I mean, for the transgender people. I
See, it
mean,
is basically a billion-dollar industry, and in
uh,
this billion-dollar industry, they do it for profit. So all this are happening for money at the end of the
organized
day.
crime, as you mentioned, right?
Yes,
It's a
organized
organized.
crime. It's
Mm,
begging. It is like human trafficking. It is like
mm,
organ, organ selling. So all
mm,
these come in the forms of slavery. So I'll tell you. So yes, like organ harvesting, this is called sexual exploitation, labor, domestic servitude, criminal exploitation, child marriage. All these basically are organized crimes. These are
mm,
all types of slavery, basically.
and sometimes international racket also there might be
Yes,
there.
absolutely,
Right?
absolutely,
Doctors
absolutely.
also, yeah.
So yes, that is
Involved.
why.
Yeah, it's a very challenging field you have been, working with. I just want to know your personal, I mean, like, choice of why, or what did motivate you to, venture this, unusual path in your 20s itself. What it
I think
actually means?
I always like unusual stuff as a person, I guess. So I think I when I was in 9th standard or 10th standard, I decided that I would be doing social work, and I wanted to not be like a charity worker, but I wanted to be like a rights-based approach. I wanted to use, and then yeah, so I studied, and I actually got into it. I was passionate actually, and you have to be, I think, highly motivated to do something in this field, because it is very easy to burn out. It's very easy to just give up, basically, because you will see reality. It is absolute reality. So you're going near and near to reality, so it becomes very, very disturbing. So yeah, I think I was passionate about the field, though I'm passionate about a lot of things. But yes, this in my 20s I definitely wanted to do, and I have done it.
Thank you for accepting our invitations and coming here.
Thank you so
I
much.
work
Thank you so much.
for the
I'm very
script.
humble.
Yeah, actually, I was told to moderate this session, but I could not get time. But
Okay.
in fact, I work for the script that has been used for your interview. Anyway,
Okay, great.
I have been working
Great
in
to know.
Anajari along with other
Thank you.
groups. And all.
Yeah, definitely. I'll meet all of you someday, definitely. It's a
Yeah,
great
and
pleasure.
thank you, and
Thank you.
we'll
Thank you.
need your help
Thank you,
and
sir.
suggestions afterwards.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody who wants to also put in some kind of questions to Prisny?
I can talk about a little Prisny. I
Yes.
understand it's a little unusual.
But it's
So
a beautiful name.
thank you. So I can talk a little about child rights. Maybe I'd not speak about child rights.
Yes, let's cover that up. And
yeah, so I think in short, I can just explain so right, basically, when we talk about right, it equates to freedom. So if you take away freedom, that means your rights are violated. So freedom equal to right. And basically, for with regards to child right, it's when a child doesn't have anyone to take care of, then obviously it's a mandate of the state. Now in 1948, the UN adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Human rights take care 1948. After that, 1989, UN adopt this one, the Convention of Children Law. Just a second. Yeah, the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child. And after this, basically, a article cannot broadly, it is categorized in 4 different points. It is survival rights, developmental rights, participation rights, and protection rights. Ekita charita bhagot basically broadly categorized kora hoise. Survival or karne recognize the child's right to life and the needs basic to existence. Development or karne obviously full potential, example, education, leisure, cultural activities. It is बहुत मानुहे और what types of slavery ase. बहुत मानुहे गाँवर पर, for example, loe hai, bachak, and then says that more education dim toy por aru moi kintu ghor kam gita kori dibi de. You work as a, basically you help me in my homework, my housework also, and also please I will give you to study. Now that is not a privilege you're doing. You will not ask your own child to do all those work, right? And first of all, you're taking away the livelihood of that child. That child is not supposed to work. That child is supposed to study, play, do all sorts of childhood things. So that is another form where I have it was a project and I was involved, and we have gone to different apartments actually to create awareness that you cannot be doing this. So it is if you're doing it, then definitely we can complain. And you will be obviously, you have to pay a penalty for that, because there have been a lot of instances where they are raped, where they are violated, abused, and where they are actually mane bahut tenekwa ase pohar namot kam korai apply bahut heri ase. So you cannot do that obviously to a child. After 14, obviously you have certain hours of work you can do, because you need pocket money, then definitely certain hours of work you can do. Otherwise it comes under types of slavery. So yeah, that is one thing. So a charita bhagot kora ase. And what is basically child protection is protecting the protection rights of children. Protection of children already ase amar gute article and everything. It's basically protecting the protection rights of the children. মানে সেইকেইটা যাতে protection যোনকেইটা আছে সেইটো যাতে violate নহয় সেইটো ensure কৰা যায় basically. That is called child protection. Yes, so child protection মই কাম কৰি আছো বৰ্তমান এতিয়া like so yes.
Okay, wonderful.
So we basically like we see that the institutions are well managed and is basically like মানে Juvenile Justice Act মতে solely আছে নাই. Are the children getting like what they should be getting? So we are working along with the government. So government and we work together to ensure that the children are protected basically. So yes.
Right. এতিয়াতো তুমি চালেও স্কুলতো তোমাৰ মানে you cannot punish a child.
You can't. You can't exactly. Yeah. Because if you like আগৰ দিনত খুব মাৰিছিল like বাচ্চাবিলাকক we all have found mar like some point of time. So but then what happens is when a child like goes through a lot of like mara-mari violence when they see or like mari say school or two, so the prefrontal cortex like gets really like disturbed and the damage is happened here, and then in adulthood it's going to show when you're not going to realize that this has actually like happened because of the childhood. Everything is related to your childhood when you're an adult. So many things are like related. So yes, so definitely you can't keep a child. So yes,
that also builds in your mentality, your the personality, so many other things.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it was so nice speaking to you actually, and I really enjoyed hosting this today, and actually I got to know you is even better for me. I want to ask you one last time, if anybody would be interested to ask any questions, you can please come up, else we will will now
end it basically.
End it. Yes. So if
So
anybody
Roshni, it was really good to like absolutely meet you, and I think I enjoyed like talking. So yeah, thank you so much, Anajari and team and everyone actually
really
for giving me this opportunity. So yes, it was lovely to meet you.
More eta question ase.
I will get back to you again. Don't worry.
Prisny, I have one question.
Yes, please, Melinda.
So what could Anajari do? And how Anajari could help, or maybe do advocacy regarding child trafficking? Kiba, you are the first one who spoke, right? Is there something that we could do?
Definitely, maybe I can get in touch with my organization and we can talk and build a maybe project where I would definitely need like resources and then go to communities and do it. It can definitely happen.
Okay, or maybe also do some talk. Maybe I do not know if it's needed to talk in a school level.
Yes, absolutely.
School kids should know, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Teenage.
Absolutely.
So
Moi life skill course like then I used to like in the end of the class or something I used to like just make them aware of certain things like because they are supposed to be given awareness.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prisny, for
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Melinda.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
So Princey, from Anajuri side, I, along with my team, would like to thank you once again for bringing up such a beautiful topic today. It was really interesting and interactive. We learned a lot of things. I'm sure with this session, a lot of people who are seeking advice or want to, gain some kind of knowledge would get that from you. And once again, thank you for being here, and I really loved the session today. So
thank you so much. I'm very humbled. You're very kind, and it was lovely like to have all of you. So yeah, thank you, and good evening to all of you. So yeah,
thank you. Wish you the same. Have a great weekend. Okay.
You too. Bye. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.